transport mission here, so you can probably ignore that one. If you want to see this in a neat little box, you can go to our PDF on page. Well, if you just type 79 in the bottom here, you should get possible run plans. So basically, my question is, how do you plan to go? What do you plan to do? How do you go into this? Because what you want to do is basically inspect the corpses, maybe even the evidence gathered. How do you plan to do that?
I think to go see the bodies would be either social or cunning. I mean, we have a way in, I guess. Or a way to get to the secure areas.
Cunning would then be, for example, telling me what manipulation method do you use to con your way in, basically. Or social would be what capital or connection do you use to get your way in?
Probably cunning then? Yeah, no?
If you want to use the fake ID you have, that probably would be cunning, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And say cunning, and the method would be the fake ID.
Yeah.
Simply trying to walk through the security checkpoint and whatnot, using that.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a very good idea, if I remember correctly.
It was.
Yes,
it was a 6.
I have here that it is a fine ID.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
I'm not much of a stealth character, so if we have access and we have a face, we should use it.
Should always use your face, people.
Yeah. wait. Isn't your line not the face?
It actually is, yeah. Yeah.
I don't even think it's fake credential. It's stolen credentials, isn't it?
Yeah.
I believe they are. The fine part of them is that they are actually genuine.
Yeah.
The difficult part might be that you might not look so much like the guy on them.
Yeah.
You know. So who's gonna be Alexandrov?
We only have one guy.
Yep.
Everyone around the planning table looks to Ziegler.
Yep.
He looks at all of you, frowns deeply.
Thymara shrugs and is like,
I'm not much of an actor, he says, lighting a cigarette.
You'll do some.
He sort of looks at the picture. I guess I kind of look like him. Frowns again.
Well, it's fine, so I suppose yes, you do. Kinda.
Maybe.
But we'll suppose to see what the people think you get in there. All right.
Maybe Vice could do your makeup.
worst case.
What's your excuse for bringing all these other people in?
I have a bodyguard license.
And
I could totally be a bodyguard.
Did failed operation on Russian crime boss. Now crime boss pissed. Now I must have bodyguard. Duh. Old country. That's for you, Larry, and you wanted my Russian accent.
oh god. And then
Ziegler's Russian accent.
Ziegler's.
Fought the Russians in Year of War.
He did.
it's probably the most racist.
Yes, I'm Ivan. I'm glad to meet you.
You know, Ziegler always says never trust Ivan.
Never make a deal with Ivan.
Never make a deal with the dragon, never fight the Red Samurai, never trust Ivan. That's the 3 ones.
Sure is. Alright.
Straight. Anyway. All right. So the next part is actually the one time where I generally get to make a roll. That doesn't happen often in this game. And that is the engagement roll.
I'm scared. Hold me, Halldamir.
Basically, this determines how this plan goes. On a 1 to 3, you have lost the initiative. The target counterattacks before you can actually observe that you have been spotted. Your team is on the defensive. The situation is turning desperate quickly. Basically, something major went wrong. On a 4 to 5, you have engaged your plan, but there's something that has become complicated. Some things you didn't expect. Some scenario plays out that's unfortunate, unlucky, or one of your contacts that's involved in this might have screwed you over in some fashion. On a 6, the plan worked as intended, and it gives you an advantage compared to, like the detail gives you an advantage you wouldn't otherwise have had. On a critical, you get an incredible advantage, and many obstacles can just be eliminated or passed by altogether.
Well, that's a lot. That's a lot to.
It's a wide
dice roll.
range.
That's a lot on a dice roll.
The number of dice is determined generally by how well prepared the target is, and then some characters can have abilities that just give you an extra die. Say, someone might have an ability, at least in Blades in the Dark. I don't know if anyone has it here, but I would think so. That says, whenever I have done information gathering prior to a run, we get +1 die to our engagement roll. Just a flat +1 die, which is nice. You can have a shitty plan and still do well.
Yeah, I know something I can get, which is the ability to reroll our fortune later.
Yeah. But... Anyway, if the defense is very strong against your attack, there's two things that determine the engagement roll. One is how much higher tier is the target than you. In this case, for example, a Cedar Krupp hospital is higher tier than you. They have better resource access and such than you have, by far. Another thing is how well prepared are they for this approach. In this case, I'd say that they're pretty poorly prepared for this approach. They're not terribly prepared. They do have some control measures, but they don't have like eye scanners and fingerprints and that sort of thing. Has really never really been necessary.
Question.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can, because I also assume then that certain plans are also factoring, like, yes, a stealth approach is something that seems reasonable here. An attack, if we pick that, would probably result in fewer dice being rolled, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any way, like, mechanics-wise, we can suss these things out before we choose a plan of attack, or is it just up to us to sort
Yes,
of...
of course there is. That is one of the reasons you would do information gathering generally, or use your skills. You do have skills, and you can use them to gather information. An example, for example, could be using your security to say, what's a good point of infiltration, or what's the danger here? Using your survey to say, what's really going on? Are we about to be ambushed? Electronics to say, how could I best disable the surveillance, or will anyone notice that the systems are down? Or animal behavior to say, are they telling me the truth here? How could I get them to trust me? You can do a lot of these sort of information things with your skills, using your skills actively to basically look around you, right? So
that's
since this mission allows you, because sometimes it won't, right? If you're going to attack a bus or something, you might not have this opportunity. But as I stated before, you can actually go and look on the outside of these places because they're in public areas without anyone really paying attention. But the roll would then be how much information do you get, and on a very low roll, it would be someone has noticed that you have been looking at this place, and now they will be looking out for like scouting people, right?
But is this something we do with our downtime actions? Or
you could, but I don't. It's not necessarily a thing that you have to do with your downtime actions, because you won't always know your next mission in your downtime. Your downtime is supposed to be for you, more so.
Okay.
And it's something you could certainly do now if you wanna. If you have a specific question that you would want to use one of your skills for. Of course, there's a risk to it. Basically, to go and scope out the place, the risk would be that you alert them that someone's like scoping out the place, right? You wouldn't actually get captured or anything, but you might alert them to the presence of someone checking it out. You can ask me any questions about something you can get simply by walking past it, because that no one will ever notice that. So if you have any questions, do please.
Where is the morgue located in the hospital? If you go inside and look in the the map of the
morgue
hospital.
would be there's basically an elevator, a big elevator. It's troll what do you call accessible. Trolls can be in this hospital. In Raku territory, nothing is bigger than normal people size. But Seder Group does have standards that say the trolls have to be able to access anything. So doors are generally big, such things. It's nice for you at least. But that would be in the basement, on the sort of O2 level, basically 2 levels down, underground. There's stairs, and there's an elevator, couple elevators. It's a pretty big building.
Yes.
It's not really. Basically, visitors are not allowed in the basement regions.
Would I think there'd be some kind of, say, alarm possibly on any of the things like down in the basement, like doors perhaps?
Oh, that's very likely. Yeah. Passwords, that sort of thing. I mean, it's a secure building, and they usually have some sort of security to ensure that it remains secure. This might not be a building that has like automated turrets, but alarms are most certainly going.
That's exactly where alarms might get triggered. So.
If there are no other questions, we can continue with the engagement roll and jump to the action.
How many different ways would there be to get out? Would it be? Are there? How many different? Can we find something like good at like escape routes?
Well, the place has a fire safety code that says that there has to be like both elevators and stairs leading from most locations to the outside. Of course, underground, in the lower levels, there might, at least from your knowledge of many buildings, like be arrows on the floor that would lead you to the nearest exit. If you get attacked down there, it would be troublesome to get out, that's for sure.
Okay. It is sufficient for me now.
Alright. As I was saying, though, the target is not particularly well prepared for this. However, their tier is far beyond you, because it is a Seder Group facility. Seder Group is pretty big and pretty powerful. They have their stuff in order. This means that I will go from they have superior connections, and the target is not particularly well ready. So we will go from 1 die for them having, for you having inferior connections, down to an average because they are not super well prepared. This is a hospital. It's not a bunker or a particular research facility. They just treat people here mostly. So I will say that this is a 2 die. Engagement roll, which means that it is an average roll. It is what you're going to see most often on your missions. So I will go ahead and we'll see how things turn out. Let's see here, /R, 2d6. All right. The highest roll of those two is a 4, which means that it is mixed.
Could be worse.
So, basically, you get in. You go past the initial security. That's fine. Smells good. A guy gives you like a nod as your check-in. Basically, you hold up the identification. It like says, "Doom. Welcome, Alexandrov," But then it also says, please enter your office at the 6th floor for orientation about recently ongoing surgery. And it appears that you actually have a that you actually need to show up to work here now. A surgery, an open heart surgery, is ongoing, and they need you to take your turn. You're a specialist. They don't have a lot of them. The other guy has been working for far too long already. So please hurry.
Just going out on a limb, we're not going to go and do the open heart surgery.
The only person who could even possibly do it is Tine, and
What? Why would I be able to do it?
you have biotech. You're the only person with medicine skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm good enough to.
Heart surgery, no.
I guess
no.
I can rip out the heart.
The man with the scanner stands next to the elevator, looking at you expectantly.
Well, yeah, we're obviously not going there, so let's just go.
Well, we could. I mean, the group could go
Please,
up.
Doctor.
The group could go upstairs and then go back, and then basically take the stairs back down and.
Well, yeah.
Way down.
Yeah, we can take the elevator. Well, actually, we could just say, oh, we're going to go take the stairs, can't we? Good for the
Doesn't
heart
really matter
after.
It doesn't really matter what we do, just as long as we just go.
Yeah, but the security won't see us if we go through the stairs. That's my thinking. We won't have to go up and then back down. We'll just go straight into the stairwell.
Well, let's go straight then.
Good for the heart, you know.
Well, if you feel bad, call your friend and say he should go to work. And he can't come in because we already used his ID and he doesn't have it anymore.
You know, Vice gave him a phone number. Wasn't hers, but you know. There's no way that she got it.
We doomed a guy. Well, someone had to. Let's go.
Onwards. To the stairwell.
You can go to the stair. He looks at you a bit strangely as you walk away. But he's not of high enough rank to really stop you from going to the stairs. You do going to the stairs, you also notice that, of course, there are security cameras in here. And generally in the lobby as well. Keep an eye on things. The place is very clean. And there certainly are people walking up and down and such. Hurrying with their various jobs. Well, this is a place for pretty high-standing clientele. Should someone die from open heart surgery, they certainly aren't going to be pleased.
No, they're dead.
We can't do anything about that.
He couldn't have been a gynecology, something like that, right?
You
So
know,
much easier.
someone was gonna be screwed over, no matter what type of doctor he was.
Yeah, but you know, a pussy checkup would not have been that bad.
But then he wouldn't
So
have been very important.
Moving on.
Ziegler looks at the two as they move towards the stairs. Yes, shakes his head.
All right. You can move down the stairs without really too much of a problem. No one sort of gets in your way, though. You get some odd looks for being sort of all of you. Oh, we actually forgot something. I assume that you're all light loaded, or
Yes.
Yes.
That is a valid point. The load. What load is one section?
you should tack that on your character sheet. So
I have mine's already tagged.
Because a heavy loaded character would get a different reaction, perhaps.
Why are you carrying 5 tons?
You're a Shadowrunner here. With
No.
like a lightning sword and cyber claws and yeah.
No, he just has drones with him. It's fine.
Does he have his drones with him?
Is medical drones, no?
Medical drones.
Very important. I don't know. I think Warburg is kind of obviously a combat drone.
That is his name, yeah.
Yeah. Plank, though, he's definitely with him.
What do you have your skillsoft set to for him?
Do I need to pick that now or when I
Yes.
Yes, you would use it. Basically, you set it during downtime.
Okay. What do we need, guys? Do we
That
need
is-
anything particular?
That is a valid question.
Heart surgery.
Heart surgery?
Well,
Send him upstairs to do heart surgery. Yes.
The cat?
How's security looking?
I only have I have one dice of security floating about.
We'll put it in security then. So
Right.
if it
If
comes
you
Note
want,
down,
I
that.
could bring a respirator.
Yeah,
no,
we'll-
note that down on him.
Yeah, and that could be useful then, 'cause that means he could aid me with security rolls.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. All right. Well, you move down then with your little fighter drone, and you do get down to the stairs. Like these doors are, when you get to the underground areas, sort of are heavy metal doors with like a little number pad, a keypad next to them. There's like a symbol that says like no public access on the door, or employees only, right? So you're at the security door,
All right,
leading
well,
into the morgue area,
we
or at
swipe
least
the
the
card.
second. Well, you swipe it, and what do you do with the keypad?
Well,
Looks over to Vice.
Vice shrugs.
perhaps knowing there are security doors here and all, it is a secure location after all. It's possible that Ashley beforehand has managed to perhaps siphon into some emails or something where someone has carelessly sent the code.
Remember, you keep losing your code all the time. Remember the code this time. That email.
Well, all right. I would say that would require some difficulty. She would have to log into the hospital server and then actually find someone who has the right code. So
Maybe,
let's say that will probably be a 3 stress flashback.
Maybe Vice actually got the code off the doctor when she slept with him.
I thought
Hey,
it was
hey.
a fingerprint, but oh, okay.
No,
Keypad.
yeah, it's a
Okay.
keypad. I mean, sure. Yeah.
The keypad is your
I mean, she's
Happen.
met him. That seems easier
Yeah.
and more likely than.
I suppose.
I mean, looking through his wallet seems more easy than hacking the Crypt hospital servers. I'm just saying.
Yeah, maybe he had it written down on a bit of paper so he would always remember.
It is something you could have done. How would you have gotten it?
Oh Christ, I don't know. I can't even remember how I got the ID. the first
Stolen
time.
it from him, or would you have charmed
Well,
it out of him?
Well, you decide how you get the idea.
Yeah, I probably would have charmed it, like to get.
Right.
Yeah. Charm him. Because she's very good at it. She's a very
I've
charming
always
person.
loved a man of
Charm. Yeah, charm in
drunk
what way?
I
Just be-
always wanted to see a morgue.
What?
And he's like,
mean,
oh,
maybe he was into
yeah,
that."
yeah,
You know,
Oh,
you're
well.
totally
freaky.
not on.
I'll take
It
you.
does happen.
Then he's like super drunk and he's like pressing the button. He's like, oh wait, no, that's meant to be a 1 and 4.
Anyway, all right. That seems like a thing you could have done. You already sort of established that you did this. So I'd say for you that would be a one stress flashback. To
Okay.
Have attempt to make the attempt basically.
Okay.
Then you try to influence, and we'll see how good of a code it is you actually got.
Or
Okay.
was he drunk at the time?
How drunk was he?
So
How
I
Did he
was
just
he?
make up something?
yeah. So I've got 2 in influence, so that's 2 die that I can.
And the highest will determine the effectiveness of this.
That's pretty good.
That's a 6. All right. So I suppose we then see a flashback of Wavais like leaning in over this bearded. No, I guess he isn't bearded, right?
He's not bearded.
As we know that
Yeah.
he looks like, but sort of a middle-aged smoking man who looks up a little sweat stained. He's clearly been in a long work day. You know, he's really tired and maybe a little delirious from like a sleep. They work them pretty hard here, and you like lean over him, you know, like whisper something, and he just sort of smiles, puts an arm around you, you know, and then says, "Yeah, you want to see the morgue then?"
The stiff.
Oh. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
German girls always freaky. All right, and basically, he will give you his code, his passcode, and the passcode even is not just the sort of general one, but the one that fits to his ID. So by using it, you shouldn't really trigger any alarm systems.
Mhm.
Because the general passcode does exist, but you have to be issued a use of it, basically,
Yeah.
as
Okay.
a visiting something.
And then that cost me 1 karma.
Yeah.
Cool.
You got stressed out from the seduction.
You know, he was a creepy, sweaty, middle-aged
Like
man.
as you like
Oh.
type the code, you shudder a little bit, feel it, like remembering
Yeah.
the sort of the hand sort of
The clammy
hood
hands.
around
Yeah,
you
yeah.
in his
Yeah.
firm grip.
He was clammy.
Mhm.
Clammy man.
Smell of vodka.
The vodka wasn't too bad. She probably smelled vodka as well.
He's had worse.
Vodka and Corona.
Anyway, yeah, you type in the password. It sort of beeps 3 times, and the door unlocks for like 20 seconds.
Beep. It flatlines.
You go into a corridor where the light here is sort of stark white, coming from sort of light tubes in the ceiling. The walls are made mainly from just like cement. They are. That's not the name of it. Anyway, sort of gray walls, just lining everything.
Concrete.
Concrete, yes. Here and there are doors with like a number on them, and then next to them like a little plaque with like a what person generally oversees this office, this area. The place is pretty huge down here, and it seems to generally be like a morgue, forensics. Just, I mean, it's very cold, and no one so far has noticed that you've been here. But well, you wonder how long you can leave the guy upstairs before he gets a little angry that you haven't showed up after checking in.
Well, we should probably move.
All right. How do you find the right place?
Well,
I would probably say Ashley might be able to find that information out.
unless there's just a map, like next to the elevator.
Oh, I mean, we're
Talking
in the
about
morgue,
the
aren't
body
we?
or the
See if there's a
room?
map.
Oh, okay, I thought we were in the morgue.
Yeah,
Right.
there's a map. It shows the general area to the morgue section of this, though there isn't a map of the sort of inner morgue or what room. You don't really know what room this Frackmeister or his people might be in.
Mm-hmm.
The morgue has like a good like 12 different rooms of sections, basically rooms with like, you know, those caskets in the wall thing that you pull out, and then there's like a slab table in the middle where you do the actual work on the dead bodies to see what they dive into forensics work. What is it called? Like
Autopsy.
yeah, autopsy. Man, my words. Anyway, but there are a good 12 of those. Pretty much everyone who dies in Sadokrum territory is brought here.
Yeah, my original thinking would be that maybe there's like a computer that perhaps Ashley might be able to get
More information on it.
more information on, like, at least what locker number, like what
room
morgue
they're in.
fridge or room, whatever. Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. You move down the hallways basically through the bare concrete areas. Not very stimulating environment. There's no stairs. There's little ramps so that you can sort of drive one of those sort of a cart around, table around them. Lots of different rooms. Some rooms have like security warnings. Some rooms have, you can hear like noises. Some have those like big glass windows you can look into what's going on, and you see like a little row of perhaps medical students watching like some operation or something they're doing in there, some presentation or something, as this place works with the university. As you move along down to the morgue, no one really stops you. You could get some looks from like the students who turn around looking at you like, oh, well, who are they? But you seem to work with purpose, and that usually helps to have people who are insecure about what they're doing here, or how they should behave. Not asking. They don't ask. They do take notice of you being there. You make your way down to a little hallway that basically has like a morguaries sign, and walk in. There's a little office in the opening where the mortician sits behind his desk, his computer, typing away probably some file information about someone who died drunk or something like that. And you see the hall with the doors into the different morgue rooms. There's probably a good couple of morticians that work here at any time. There's only one in the office right now.
Do this socially or what?
Oh, the real question is how we're going to get past him now.
Yeah, that's the question. Like, does the face want to try talking to him?
Well, if Sofian talks to him, he's gonna get a earful of why you're not upstairs.
The mortician doesn't know.
He certainly is paid a lot less than a surgeon.
Okay, then we can lie our ass off.
While I can't.
Yeah. I just don't know what to say, you know?
You can pretend to be the secretary, and Jonas can pretend to be too important to talk to a lowly
Yes.
mortician.
Yes, that can certainly work. Sovereign can look very important and smoky and just look incredibly annoyed. He will lean over to Vice and whisper something along the lines of, "Make this man do what I require of him, though."
Is he smoking right now?
He has an unlit cigarette in his lips. All right. He might have started and then looked around and be like, "Oh crap."
Can't do it.
Okay, and then the question is, what would get a mortician to leave? There's not a dead body, because the moment he finds out there's not a dead body to pick up, there's an issue.
Well, we
No,
just
we don't need him to leave. Just
need
ask
to
him
know
where it
where.
is and tell him to take us to it so we can take a look.
Okay,
Because,
sure.
because famous surgeon wants to take a look.
All right, yeah, I could probably do that, or Vice can probably do it, at the very least. So yeah, Vice will look at Sovereign and nod and say, "Yes, doctor," and walked over to the mortician at the desk.
Sure. He doesn't look out immediately. He's just sort of typing. He has a little name tag that says Eckhard Müntefering.
Okay, she'll walk up and like lean sort of over the desk and say, "Hi, I know it's really silly that I'm asking you, but the good doctor here would like to see one of the well, what are they called? Cadavers, I think he said."
He looks up with one eye, still typing, as he says, "I haven't had any notice that someone would come looking."
He
He
doesn't.
looks over at you, skeptically,
She,
sizing up the bunch.
Ziegler sends a look of skepticism back at him, summoning up as much of his haughtiness as he can.
she looks behind her and says, and then looks back and says, "Yeah, he's kind of the type just to arrive and like expect things. He's one of the upper surgeons. Can we just look? I don't. I don't really like being down here.
Well, sounds like you're trying to perhaps influence him to.
Yeah.
To get on his good side, or. Yeah, I'm gonna say that this is risky because he does not normally get this kind of bunch coming in here, especially when there's no actual notice that someone will come looking at corpses. It's not something he generally just shows to people. And also, this guy is the head mortician, and he likes his little power trip and his little kingdom here.
Sure. All right.
The risk, of course, being that he exercises his little power trip and is an asshole.
Yeah. Sure. Here we go then.
And just to okay, well there you go. But
Yeah.
generally, there is if you want to know what you can do with your karma, because that is relevant before you roll generally.
There's a bonus.
Look at page 73 of our Karma in the Dark PDF, and you can see what actions you can do and what they cost in karma.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That is ways, for example, should Ziegler want to talk to people, he could push himself and pay a little bit of karma to really strain himself to the limit and gain an extra die, for example, and such. Karma is a very powerful tool. Right, well, with that, he sort of looks at you, and this is risky, and there is a 5, which means that, yes, he will do it, but there is a complication to it. It says, I'm going to require all of your names and your identification, please.
Well, that's easy. I have my what's it called? ID thingy.
Fake
I'll
sim.
have to fill out a form after all.
I think this is a fake sin moment.
Well, I have a bodyguard license.
Well, I have the fake idea, so I'm fine.
I'll show him my fake
Uh,
license.
I'll just fake sin it, basically. I think that'd be the easy way to go.
This is also a time, perhaps, where I would say that one thing you can do with your karma, if you look at that table, is resist the consequence. The consequence here is that he insists on filling out the forms to the point and seeing your ID, so he can write up your names and take your picture, basically. If you don't want that consequence to be there, you tell me how your character blocks that consequence or convince him not to have that, and then you roll your roll, and you basically get 6 karma minus whatever your roll was, and basically the consequence is gone. You voided it.
Well, that might be better.
That's
then.
how whenever you do something that's not a 6, and there's a consequence, you can resist it.
I think that might be better than us all giving.
Like, say, you stare him down and you use your presence to cower him or some such. That would then be your presence attribute. And you would simply, we would remove that consequence, and then you would simply gain 6 minus your highest roll karma.
Okay, yeah. I think that'll work
It's
better.
a gamble, basically.
Yeah.
Because you could gain 5 karma, which is a lot.
But then
Pick
if it's presence, then
I mean, it depends on how you would explain it, right?
yeah, I think it would be a case of how am I explaining this? Words aren't working for me either today. Yeah, Vice basically doing the flutter eyelids, kind of trying to soften him up a bit.
Be like, oh, we're in a hurry right now, Doctor, but I would be very happy to tell you my full name later.
Yeah, that could work.
And
yeah.
number.
And measurements, all the numbers. See, this is how we need to think,
A
man.
little weird, but yeah, let's go with that.
What?
Yeah, I
Alright.
like it.
Well, as it goes with resistance, you always, no matter what you roll on your dice, you always resist. The dice just determine how stressful it is for your character to react in that way, or to do the thing that you use to block. So let's see. Let's see you roll your presence.
Okay, so that's the number next to presence, right?
Yep.
On our sheet. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
In that case,
Your defenses, your attributes.
and it's that number of d6s, yeah. Just checking.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Oh.
All right. So
Great.
your highest is a 3. So you take 6 minus 3 karma, which means you take 3 karma from this. It's a pretty poor roll right there. But
Yeah.
I suppose it's good to get those out of there.
Definitely.
All right. Well, he sort of looks at you. Then he sort of moves, takes a pair of reading glasses from the table, puts them on, and then looks at you again. Like wettens his lips a little bit. He seems to begin to sweat a little bit. Probably hasn't had that much attention in a long time. He just says, all right. I understand you're in a hurry. Gives you like a half smile. So nods. Who are you looking at?
What was his name again? I'm blanking as a player.
Fragmeister.
Fragmeister,
Steve
yes.
Dwarven Decker, who used to lead the team. You don't really know the names of his compatriots.
Yeah.
You probably just explain who came, who the Fragmeister, and then who came, and then just say who came with them.
Yeah.
Just a Fragmeister and his laggies.
Well, well, you probably want to describe it more as Fragmeister. A dwarven Decker by this alias.
Yes. Yeah. So a dwarven deco, going by the name of what was it? Fragmeister?
Yeah.
Ziegler nods curtly. Da, Fragmeister.
Screws up his face. Yeah. It's a rather odd name, as he types on his little computer. Frowns again, says, don't think we have anyone by that name. Some unidentified corpses for sure, though, if you want to look at the dwarves.
Yes.
Decker, he sort of looks at it and says,
Dwarf with data jack. Should be
really
that
is
guy.
beyond
Yes.
what I should be doing. You're supposed to gain the number from the people who sent you here. So it looks up, says, I suppose. Well, we have removed some cyberware from one of them. I suppose that would be the one. Don't have that many dwarfs on ice. He came in with a bunch of people. He sort of looks, attacking his glass a little bit. Not on my watch. No, that was a night watch, this one.
We want to see everything that was brought in with dwarf. Yes.
So it says, BMV incident. It says that I should require special access for people watching these. He looks up. I suppose that's you then.
Nods.
All right.
Vice nods as well.
I'll send it up to the big guys that you've arrived then. I just nods. Says, if you'd mention how helpful I'd been, that'd also be great.
Vice smiles and says, "Of course."
It's in room 12 down the hall. I'll come open for you. Just give me a moment. Types a little more then.
Well, let's go.
Goes down into his desk and pulls out a set of keys. These are old normal keys, which is interesting. He then carries with him, leaving the room, walking. He has a little bit of a limp as he goes, walking down the hall, past many doors. There's like little windows in the doors. You see in one of them, there's like someone who's operating on a corpse, opening it up and looking inside and whatnot. Probably the other morticians are working while this one is filling out the forms and that sort of thing. And says, "Yeah, we got a few drunks, I think. Fights, you know. These street people can never get it right." Let's see, she walks down to door 12 and opens it. sort of, swings the door open and says, "After you."
Sure, we'll go inside.
And you will follow in, trying to look professional, almost like Ziegler's assistant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the room, it's sort of big. There's 2 rows of these, caskets in the walls. Basically, about 6 in each wall on 3 sides, with the last side being the wall that's out to the hallway. In the center, there's a table where you can generally slide these things out, and then slide them directly onto the table for examination. So, how in-depth are you going to be? I don't see any tools with you, or he sort of looks to the drone.
And drone looks back, makes a sound.
All right. I'm no fancy surgeon myself. As he counts on his fingers, licking them a bit. As he then goes to pull out like a slab. On the slab, you see a dwarf. Clearly, he's actually very even low stature for a dwarf.
Adorable.
And he has sort of a scraggly beard, and he has a lot of blood. He's currently naked. Like there's a piece of light blue tarp over him, but the magician helpfully removes it as he pulls the corpse out. And you see that he has many deep cuts into him, pretty much all over his body. The cuts are very sharp looking, just from a glance, and they appear to have cut into his body quite a lot, especially in the back and neck, as he slid it out. He also has, of course, a cyber, like a jack in his head.
These cuts.
Half his skull and the back of his head is just like a plated metal, with all these little wires and tabs sticking out. You see that from them, there's actually 2 wires that have been plugged in that are sort of hanging half a meter out of his head and appear to have just been cleanly cut through. As he slides them out, looks at you, says, do you want music?
Ziegler nods. Please.
All right. I only have classical myself. He goes over to go back to his room. Says, just a moment. I hope you'll enjoy it. You can turn it up by simply speaking. Your voice sensitive.
Thank you.
And he'll go back to his office and turn on like some classical music, like Beethoven sort of thing.
Oh, like that classical. All right.
Yeah, it's
Great.
classical German music.
It's great.
Sure. Yeah.
That plays.
Well,
Sure, cold. It's a very cold room.
is there any form of recording software or hardware or anything wired to this dwarf? If it was wired up and be a decker, he might have some cameras or something that records his life signs or anything like that. I don't know how this works, honestly.
They said they had removed them, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, 'cause they did hear that.
Mhm.
But, I have a question.
Yeah.
Also, the cuts on him, is that from what killed him, or is that from removing his cyberware?
These are definitely not surgical cuts. They appear to be deep stabs into his body. His body is very, very, very pale. Probably not that much blood in it anymore, suggesting that a lot was leaked out of him. But now he's been washed, basically. Whatever blood that was on him is gone.
Would Chiwaria know from her experience with katanas, know what kind of cuts they are?
They appear to be katana cuts. Yeah.
Oh.
They're the kind of cuts that she would make if she very inefficiently wanted to stab someone.
Very
so
inefficiently.
So would it be as in someone who didn't know how to use?
No, definitely not. It appears
So it's not sloppy.
as if True Warrior if there was 5 of her that wanted to execute this guy in 5 different ways at the same time. Basically, there's a stab that goes through his back and through the heart and out the front, cutting. Like there are cuts that cut several of his tendons in his arms and legs. Like he was descended upon by people who
katanas.
Seemingly. One of these cuts could also be from something longer and blunter, perhaps a spear. It does not appear from what Juwari would say that he fought while this was going on, though. It appears that he was probably on his just laying face down.
Trank,
He was
maybe?
executed.
Yeah, executed. Like
Well,
a trank.
Chill Warrior will definitely share this. Explain, go into the details, and say this guy was this dwarf was executed
Worrying.
by 5 people, making very sure that he was gonna die right on that note.
Knocked unconscious first, perhaps?
Hmm?
Perhaps he was knocked unconscious first.
No. Very clear they wanted him dead. It was not a threat.
Yes,
It
why,
was an execution.
yes, why didn't he fight back? Is the question.
Because he was gonna be executed. I have another question.
Good.
Is there any rope marks on his waist? What is it? This called?
Wrists.
Wrist.
And no, he does not appear to have been bound. In fact, he appears to be a little bit on the plump side of things. He has been living well, this dwarf. Enjoying the good life.
The good Shadowrunning life.
So he was unaware of them, so they must have been very good assassins.
Well, he still had cables attached to him. They just cut through that. So
Oh yeah, so he
Perhaps,
was
He may have
in
been
the.
dead.
Decker would take a look at that.
Oh, so he
I'd
was.
actually know about that sort of thing, though. I suppose Sovereign also does have a data jack and,
Sure
and
does.
knows the cabling and such.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at it, it certainly appears that his data jack is very fancy. He has a lot of sort of cable holes that you don't normally have. It is clear that also, to perhaps the Decker of you, AzureWeb, that the cables that going into a skull are hot sim cables, meaning that, I mean, they're still plugged in. They have just simply been cut clean through the cables themselves. Probably while this dwarf was hot simming in some computer system, someone cut the lines, bringing his brain to the computer system.
can
Death by blades and dump shock.
can I just be reminded what that means?
Yes.
Basically.
Hot sim and cold sim are 2 ways in which Deckers can get real in the Matrix. Everyone can just type on a computer. Deckers can, however, also do cold sim, which is they basically connect their brain and their cyberdeck to the computer, and they become the computer system. They go into the computer system, and they're now in the Matrix world. In cold sim, they are bound by the laws of physics. Basically, their body reacts in the Matrix as if it follows the Matrix rules. Thereby, your cyberdeck can protect you so that if you get killed in there, you don't die in real life. You just get kicked off the server. In Hot Sim, however, you do Neo. You break the rules of whatever simulation you enter, and so you can do things far, far more effectively. This is how serious Deckers do their serious work. However, their mind is transferred partly sort of between the machine and their own mind, meaning that if it gets damaged or if they get hurt somehow in there, it can cause brain damage to the Decker. It is very likely that getting caught, your cables cut during Hot Sim might cause a fracturing of your personality and mind.
because they a very severe case of dump shock.
Afterwards, you would most likely be severely brain damaged.
After that was cut, he could have probably just slumped over and then they killed him.
Likely.
Wow. This was very.
Beyond that, in hot sim, you're also completely helpless. You're basically passed out. While in cold sim, your body is not passed out. It's just typing the things you're doing. You're not controlling things absolutely with your mind, but with your hands, though you're not aware of you typing.
But you're certainly able to more quickly get back into being aware. You'd be then hot sim.
When you escape from cold sim, the way to say if someone was to yank your cable out, you would experience reversed birth. Is generally the way to describe it. You're sucked into a very tiny tube, squeezed through it, and popped out into the real world on the other side. Very unpleasant.
The standard dump shock.
Yeah. But that's not what happened here. That's for certain.
Mm-hmm. So having a look over, does it look like he had more cyberware that's been taken? Can we see like upside where it's been?
Yes, you see in his wrist he probably had some sort of built-in thing there. He does have some things on his spine. He has had small things that have been removed here and there, though the data jack was probably too invasive for them to remove with the skills they had, because it's so big, basically covering half his head.
Anything else like cyber eyes, for example?
Possibly. If so, they have not been removed.
Okay. Okay, so I guess this is a chance that Ashley needs to go in and try to do what she can do. Hacking into a dead dwarf is the new one.
Plugging into a dead dwarf, that's horrifying.
Be careful.
He does have plugs that you could plug into, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that really risky?
What
Of
would
course
the,
it is.
what would the exact risks be?
Well, it's not really what this thing is made for. Invading the mind of someone else can be pretty traumatic. It's not something that a lot of people have done. It's not something people generally do. It's not something most people have an interface for. But you could try it. I mean,
We need to get the information out is the thing.
you're pretty good after all.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? He might have something recorded on his cyber deck or cyberware in there.
Could he have a black box kind of thing in case of
It's
death?
possible.
He would have a message.
His stuff is certainly custom made and it's been very expensive to make. That's for sure. So what it could do? Again, many of these things are just it's not standard, so you can't really say the capabilities of it.
Well, if AzureWeb is up for it, I will protect you with all my might.
Ashley will nod and will take a moment to prepare herself, loosening her coat slightly. She heads over near it, examining the body. How far do you think Ashley needs to go? Do you actually feel she needs to completely cold sim into this, or?
Yeah, that would be how you would do it. Yeah, you would basically act as if his mind was a server, a broken, shattered one that's dead, but you know.
How far do I go? Cold sim or hot sim? This is the question.
Hot sim, you would be a god in his mind. Cold sim, you would have to follow whatever rules he has imagined that people invading his mind would follow. You know.
Do those rules work while he's dead? Because
Who knows?
questions.
This is not something which is normally done.
If you hot sim, I think we've discussed this before, Dark. Everything you do will be desperate, but everything you'll do will have great effect in there. Meaning that failure can be very dangerous, but success can be amazing. Cold sim is more boring. It's risky. You can get hurt, but mostly it's your cyber deck getting hurt, and your results will be okay.
I don't think it's something that we can even consider giving you advice on. like your character, really.
It's really a dark decision because it's his character who's
Yeah.
gonna go in there.
It's risky no matter what route I do for this to kind of get it right.
Mhm.
We need to get as much information as we can from this, though.
Mhm.
Meaning, Ashley will pull up a chair close by.
Uh-huh.
Will remove the hot sim cables attached to him and plug in her own.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Taking out her cyber deck, sitting there.
Sitting down in the chair so she doesn't just flop to the floor and hurt
Yeah.
herself.
Yeah, she probably knows how to do that now.
She's done hot sim before. This is not her first
Does
time.
she generally sit on a chair, or does she sit on the floor?
She would rather sit on the floor, but it depends, if the cables are reached down from where it is.
They would. The table's not that high.
So, in which case,
It can be raised and lowered. It's dwarf and troll accessible.
fair enough. In which case, she'd rather be on the floor with no chance of falling out the chair either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Her body won't be completely limp. She will, if you really need her to come out, send her a message, a digital message.
how would we send you a message?
Vice has her phone out, ready to send a text. I imagine that's how it works. At least.
Pretty much, I imagine
I
that.
have earplugs I can plug into you.
I mean, we all have those.
Yeah. No, I reckon it's just like sending a text, like, get out.
Okay.
It's
Body's
ready,
just-
writ out.
Slumps over, helpless, completely helpless.
Yep.
Oh,
could
sure,
st- you
it will
could-
be.
You could
ready.
slice her throat and let her bleed out, and she wouldn't even feel it.
And
Sure,
actually-
will be
actually,
ready
yeah.
to catch her in case she falls.
As Ashley begins her hot sim.
All right. So it is like being sucked through a tube, right? Through this cable, basically. What's your avatar look like? What are you right now? Because in
As
this
a-
world, you define what you are.
As Ashley materializes, she materializes as her well-known and, well, she hopes well-known avatar. A huge black and blue spider. On its abdomen, her webbed and small spider symbol. This giant spider-like being with arms for two of its front legs instead of just legs. Two blazing blue eyes made of azure flames scan the area.
All right. Let's see how well you can do this.
Mm-hmm. This is going to be interesting. So, will you want me to roll something here for this?
Yeah.
What exactly would you say I need to roll for this? Then is the question.
Mostly in this game, you're supposed to tell me what you're doing.
Okay. Yeah, we've never done matrix-based stuff before, so I'm just trying to wonder is there something I need to start with? But okay.
Well, I mean, I don't think any of your programs really fit it, do they? On your deck.
Let's see. The deck's programs are combat, security, stealth, and survey.
Yeah, might just want to use your electronics. For that.
Okay.
You also hot simming, so you can use your own skills for whatever thing you're doing in here. If you're running, you can use your athletics, that sort of thing. Just.
Okay. Yeah, I think electronics is a fitting thing to be using in here.
Uh-huh.
Can I spend karma to get like an extra dice? Was that a thing? I remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. You can basically push the limit. You gain 1 extra die to any roll, but it costs you 2 karma.
2 karma. Okay. Because I don't want things to go too badly in here, so possibly spending karma to make sure I.
Yes, you are gambling here.
Yes, I think I will spend 2 karma to go ahead and get an extra dice onto my electronics check here. Attempt to search through his mind and system.